But y'all got me in trouble.
Anyways,
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the I Found a Fan podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about something that I would say we're all, if not experts in, we all have a lot of it.
do you want to start over, bro? He said I found a fam.
I was gonna let that slide.
Did I really say that?
Yes. Nah,
All right,
keep
let me start
going.
it up.
Nah, keep going.
Welcome back to the I Found a Friend podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about something that we're all experts in or have knowledge in, and that is social media. So, kick us off here.
Like you said, welcome to the I Found a Friend podcast, where we, your friend, help you navigate life daily journeys. It's your host, Eric Diggs,
Jordan Diggs.
John Diggs.
and let's get right to it.
Eric, what are you doing right now?
Bro, I'm on TikTok right now. I ain't even catch you. Bro,
Eric records a video in the moment. It's a spur of the moment video.
I want to see something.
And I say, don't post the video.
I just posted it. I did. I really did. But I want to see something because sometimes TikTok be like your random videos end up being like a video that pops off, the one you don't even try on. And the ones that you actually put effort in, that you clip up. Yep, my bad. Maybe I'm not the social media expert, and that's why I'm here on this show right now, so I can listen to the Jordan and John Diggs.
You've been off TikTok for like 9 years, gang, and you trying to talk about being a TikTok pro. That's all I'm saying.
Nah, but this one's gonna be fun because Threads just dropped.
Follow me.
And if you don't know what Threads is, it's Meta's version of Twitter.
Twitter killer.
Elon Musk is suing them, so we're gonna see what's gonna happen with all that.
It got 10 million signups in the first day.
Yeah, so
crazy.
I haven't quite got on it yet, but I was talking to the boys about it, and I was like, yeah, we should probably get on for our podcast account. So that's probably what I would do after this EP that we record. But, I just wanted to go and jump into a quick history of social media in general, just because I feel like, 20 years ago, social media wasn't as big of a deal as it is today. And then just within the last 5 years in general, there's been so much new social media platforms that are popping up, and people are just flocking to social media like never before. Like the age that we're in right now is digital, and it's going crazy. So, starting in 2002, LinkedIn.
No way. LinkedIn started before everything else? Are you kidding me? Because I feel like LinkedIn was like a newer platform, right? And I feel like that is because like I only discovered it when I was in college, because I feel like you really discover LinkedIn around your college age when you're ready to get a job. So
I was going to say, tell them what LinkedIn is, first of all.
I mean, LinkedIn is just a business platform, really. It's where you go and you kind of give your professional highlights, and you're able to connect with other people in business industries or different groups or clubs. And you can also find jobs and apply for jobs in there as well. So it's like strictly business related.
wow, I did not know that it started in 2002 though.
2002, LinkedIn was launched.
Wow.
2003, MySpace and Skype. Those are like the two biggest ones in 2003.
R.I.P. MySpace.
I know, right?
Do we even know what happened to that? Like, why did it, out of all the social media platforms that failed, why did MySpace fail? Because, like, I feel like a lot of people still talk about MySpace. They're like, yeah, back in my day, we had MySpace.
That's just dad, bruh. He be trolling people, be like, follow me on MySpace. Nobody talks about MySpace.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know if it got like bought out or.
I think it was Facebook, wasn't it? Facebook was the thing that took over.
Yeah. So speaking of Facebook, 2004, Facebook came out.
Wow.
Shout out Meta.
Then 2005 was YouTube.
Wow.
2006 was Twitter. 2007, Tumblr. 2010, Pinterest and Instagram. 2011, Snapchat, Twitch.
It's crazy because I can remember when Instagram came out, I was in middle school and just everyone had it, and mom and dad did not let us have it. But
Oh yeah, no way.
it's like we grew up in the perfect time period. Like, I can't really imagine a world or think of a world before social media. Like, we grew up on the onset and release of these platforms.
I think it's perfect because we were still able to have a childhood where we were interacting with people, so we know how to communicate with people. But then we're also able to capitalize on the benefits of social media now and able to market ourselves with that, which is what we get into later in this EP. But a lot of times you have kids that are growing up in this digital age on these social media platforms, on these iPhones and smartphones in general, and they're going to grow up and they're not going to know how to communicate with people in the real world. Will that be an issue? I'll have to find out in the next 10, 15 years.
They're saying it's not going to be an issue because they're saying that Gen X is actually going to be known for being the generation that lives their lives virtually through virtual reality. I don't know if y'all know, but Apple released like a new virtual reality headset, but that's a phone. So like literally you can scroll through apps and stuff.
So
it costs around
crazy.
like $4,000, but that's like where our world is headed, through the virtual.
Ready Player One type beat.
Yeah.
No cap, bro. They put it in the movie first, and then they released it in the real world later.
Imagine being able to like FaceTime someone virtually. Like, how would that look? Like, it would feel like you're with
No
them.
way, bro. That's crazy. That is trippy to think about. All right.
Y'all don't want to be Iron Man? I feel like Iron Man had like a pretty dope life.
I love Iron Man, bro. It's one of my favorite superheroes because you can actually be him. Somebody can create an Iron Man suit and become Iron Man.
You can be Batman.
Somebody can be Batman. I like superheroes that you can be, but like Batman just a fighter with gadgets and money. Iron Man, like that suit is actually like sick.
Batman is not human, bruh. This man fell from the atmosphere of the earth and landed with no suit other than his bat suit. He's not human.
That's what I'm
Don't
saying.
let them lie to you,
They
bruh.
capping, bro.
Anyways, get back on the topic, bro.
He was raised in the dark.
You can do it.
molded by it.
You can do anything when you have money,
I guess so.
including survive anything.
Buy out Twitter.
No cap. Elon Musk, shout out. 2012, Tinder. 2013, Vine,
Rip.
Patreon. I think MySpace did a relaunch in 2013. 2014.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. Hey,
By the time
they're
it-
trying to compete with everything else that's coming out. You had, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, all coming out.
By the time we relaunched, everyone was like, forget MySpace. We
Yeah,
got
for real, bro.
Facebook.
2014, Musically.
You're like, what's that?
Yeah.
It's
Then-
crazy that like
TikTok.
Vine and Musically walked so that TikTok could run.
Okay.
Literally.
No, they sold the bag with Vine, though.
For real.
2017, TikTok. And then 2018, Musically migrated its users to TikTok. 2020, Be Real. 2021, Truth Social.
What is that?
Donald Trump's social media platform when he got banned off of Twitter.
Oh, that's crazy.
Wait, Be Real is 3 years old?
Yeah, it's not that old, bro. It's
I
like
feel
I'm
like it
saying,
took
I
off.
feel like it
past
was
5 years, bro.
It
been
took
going
off
crazy.
like last year.
I was
Though.
gonna say, yeah, I feel like it was new last year.
Isn't that a trend with all these social media platforms? Like, who knew that YouTube been around since 2005 or Instagram 2010, Snapchat 2011? Like,
You know what's crazy though? If like social media platforms can work that way, so can our social media careers. Like we've been around since then, but we didn't pop off. So it's just like it really is like a long run game.
Let them cook.
yeah, you got to stay consistent with it. And then, what's interesting about all these, so you see how long it took for all these to gain traction, and now we get full circle moment back to 2023 is when Threads dropped just last week of us recording this EP. And what'd you say? How many followers or how many users did it attract within like the first day?
10 million followers within the first day. People were going crazy.
Was it 10 or 30 million? I think it was like 10 within like the first like 7 hours and like 30 million within the first 24.
Honestly, I have no idea, but like I have an account that just follows like influencers and creative and like people who inspire me. And literally all of their stories were like thread. And I was like, what is this? So I downloaded it just because I saw other people downloading it.
So that's the new wave. Everybody's trying to create the next big social media platform that's going to keep everybody's attention on one platform. I think like Instagram is like a combination of Snapchat, TikTok, Vine, and then of course the Instagram just what it normally does just for photos and keeping up with people. And now they're adding in this thread counterpart to it to become the new Twitter because Twitter's had its struggles recently and they're taking full advantage of that. And they're not even doing anything different.
Do we think we're gonna?
Actually, it's safer. It's safer for kids because they have the same like policy on nudity and stuff like that as
For
they do.
Threads?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That
they're
is
saying
nice.
people's accounts were actually getting banned on Instagram accounts are getting banned from Threads because they were like just posting and like spamming Threads, and it like applied the same rules on Threads as it did to their accounts. And Threads is linked to your. I actually was listening to an influencer talk about this. They were saying there's not going to be as many trolls because Threads is linked to your Instagram account. And,
Right.
like, Instagram, you have to take a little bit more seriously because it's more personable to who you are.
No, I saw a post. It was Katie, Kevin Durant. He said, "I'm on Threads, popping off with the burner. Come find me."
It's funny.
So, how has the use of social media evolved over the past 20 years? I mean, we just did a quick rundown of just kind of like the key highlights, but there's a lot of other social media platforms that's also launched throughout that time period. But those are like the key ones. But obviously 20 years ago, people wasn't necessarily flocking to social media in terms of thinking, oh, I'm going to grow and get all these random people I don't know to follow me and track my life. It was more so like, I want to stay connected with the people around me. And that was like the easiest way to do it. But
That's so true. Like Facebook started off as like a research database for like college students, you know? It wasn't really even to connect in that way. And then it ended up turning into a way people could connect with each other. But like when we do think about the early onset of social media, it really was just something that was really brand new and like very, exciting and just like, oh, I can connect with people, you know? Like I haven't spoken to this person in years and I can see what they're doing on Facebook now. And then what happened next? Like how did we go from there to here, you know?
I don't know.
I would say I think it's when maybe YouTube started.
Yeah.
Because I've listened to like a lot of OG YouTubers and their stories about like how like you weren't even able to get paid on YouTube. And then, but like art, like that's why Patreon was started because the guy who started Patreon, he was an early OG YouTuber and he wasn't able to get paid for his creative work that he was posting on YouTube. So he's like, what if there was a platform that paid creators to post? So he started Patreon and that ended up doing really well. But I feel like once YouTube started realizing that they had a lot of attention on their platform, they wanted to monetize it themselves to make, money as a company. So they had to open their platform up to advertisement. And then what keeps people on their platform? It's these creators who are creating these videos. So why not pay these creators to keep people on their platform so that we're getting paid by advertisement? It really is like anything that you think about, like in terms of social media, it's all about money and viewership and all of that things. Because the more eyes you have and the more time they spend on your platform, the more money you're making as a company.
And data. It's all about the data.
And data is huge because data is money. Like if you think about it, like you yourself are the commodity for these social media platforms. So basically they make money off of you. You're the product that they're selling to advertisers.
That's kind of crazy to think about, but he's right. I tell people all the time, if I wasn't on social media, if I wasn't doing what I do, I would not have it because it makes no sense being so invested in other people's lives like that. Unless you're trying to learn something, unless you're like genuine entertainment, I guess, but it's like you just overly invested in situations that have nothing to do with you, does not pertain to you whatsoever.
Yeah, there's definitely a toxic side of social media and then a positive side of social media. So let's talk about the toxic side. What, like, I know you're getting into it, John, but like what can be toxic about social media?
Just like the mental health aspect. You always hear like people that are really against social media, their number one thing is, oh, it affects our mental health. People are committing suicide and all kinds of stuff because it really does impact the mental health ultimately. I talk about it all the time. I took a break for 1 month from social media, was so happy, so free. Everything was slowed down. The day I get back, they talking about a celebrity died. I'm like, daggum. I'm seeing RIP over everybody's timelines. Once again, it's a sad situation, but he didn't know me. I don't really know him. So it's like, just a situation I was wrapped up in.
Infiltrated with all this negativity that you didn't have to be or receive.
Yeah.
And that's interesting because I feel like a lot of people open up social media first thing in the morning. So imagine if you're getting bad news first thing in the morning, that kind of like sets
the day.
And
then you talked about I know we talked about the comparison aspect too. Like we feel like we have to be on the same level. We have to rush if we're not on the same level as somebody else in terms of followers, in terms of financial status. So it's like, it just creates a space for envy because you're just seeing what other people do. And other times we live vicariously through people's lives as well. We see them traveling, having relationships and whatnot. And it's like, oh, I wish that was me. So it can, if you're not navigating it well, it could very easily spiral into something where it's just like creating a very toxic mental space for you.
I mean, you're just comparing somebody else's highlights to your life. So you're only seeing the best parts. You're not seeing the down moments. You're only seeing the up moments for the most part. And that can become toxic if you look at it from the wrong perspective.
Most certainly. And another thing that I think is toxic, which Eric, you're getting into, is like connectivity. I feel like we have this fake sense of connectedness. Like, oh, I have this many friends on Instagram, but like who really checking up on you in real life? Who you hanging out in real life? Having friends on social media is great, but it's empty at the end of the day because you can't really hang out with these people. I mean, I don't know. I can't say it's empty because like of course, like it helps you keep like relationships with Eric. Like you have a long distance relationship. So I guess we can go into the pros. Like that could be a pro.
First of all, like on that note, in terms of like connecting with people, I don't care how digital this world becomes, there will always be a need for people to connect with people. You will need to be able to communicate person to person to do big things.
So true.
To have high level conversations, to have high network circles, you're going to need to know how to communicate with people back and forth and hold your own ground and be able to read a room, to be able to understand emotions and be able to sense that. And you can't do that through a screen. So that's always going to be a place for that.
That's so interesting because like if you think about like the top 1%, like these billionaires and wealthy people, they're not really on social media like that.
Right.
So I think with our generation, we just know social media as like, you know, things that we're used to. But like Eric, you're so right. Like in order to function in this world, especially like at a high level, I guess you do need to have these core skills of communication, of like listening, of knowing how to voice your opinion, and of knowing how to be around people, be in the presence of people, all that.
I mean, think about it. Even with social media, the better you understand people, the better you can communicate with people, the more people you can attract to your platform. So those skills never go away. But a lot of people are growing up without having learned those other skills. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic to see how it unfolds.
Social media is really marketing, though.
Right.
It's like, what are you advertising to people? Is it entertaining enough? Are you hitting your demographic? Are you hitting your target audience? So it's like, if you're trying to blow up, really, like Jordan said, you're the product. Like the consumer is the product. So it's like, how can I market myself to where they want to consume what I'm offering? So it's like, yeah, you're a product, but they are also the, it's a really interesting dynamic to me.
Yeah. Social media is just so complicated. In case you're wondering, like, okay, who is Jordan? Why is he like saying like he knows all this stuff about social media? I actually did like a year-long senior research thesis on social media. So I had to do a deep dive into what we were talking about earlier, like the history of social media, and just like the way it plays in our lives and like how people are growing on social media, how people are monetizing on social media. I researched all of that for a year while also building my own social platforms. And then I'm also a social media manager for a startup company now. So I guess my life literally revolves around social media. So if I'm just like spitting a bunch of facts at you, it's because like it's what I do. And as John's saying, it really is a marketing platform, and being a social media manager, I'm realizing that even more, like how it can generate sales for businesses. If you're a business in the 21st century, you need to be on social media. Like it's just like a fact, because they said that the next billionaires are going to be people who build up social media platforms and use them to leverage for their businesses. And it's just like such a smart business model to do.
So what are some of those pros for social media? Because I know I cut you off a little bit before you was about to hop into it.
For sure. I would say one pro is the ability to have the ability to market something. So if you have a product, if you're a small business, you're able to market that through social media, and you're going to have more reach and more visibility in terms of who you are and what you do. The second is the ability to monetize, so the ability to make money, which could eventually lead to more time flexibility in your life, or like a extra stream of income, or even having a full-time job doing social media. And I think that's what we're seeing now. It's just like social media is like growing so big and so large, and it's just growing every year, that we're seeing more and more people being able to leave their jobs to start full-time careers on social media. And people ask, well, is that realistic? Is it possible? And that was the thesis of my senior research paper, is that it is realistic. It is possible. And there's specific steps that you can take in order to achieve that. But a lot of people don't want to put in the work, because social media looks like an overnight thing. You see one person and it looks like they gained 1 million followers in 1 week. But if you know anything about life, nothing and no one is an overnight. It's not an overnight game. And I was talking to one of our friends. His name is Darren Starks. He has a podcast with his brother, and they monetize that podcast, and they make money off of that, and they have a really large following. And he was saying, like, even like people you see who thirst trap, you're like, oh, why are they da 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 da? How are they getting paid for that? But he's like, you don't understand like the amount of work and effort it takes into that. Because first of all, they gotta like keep their body fit to look good. Then they gotta post consistently because you can't just make one thirst trap and have a full-time career. You know, like you gotta post consistently and figure out what type of content to make. So if you want to be on social media, you gotta put in the work. That's one piece of advice. What do you guys would say like in terms of advice to grow a social media platform, or if someone wants to be on social media? Because all of us have grown social media platforms. So talk a little bit about yourself and advice you have.
I'd say like one thing it's important to understand is you need to decide before you hop on social media, why are you hopping on it? Are you hopping on it to be a consumer, or are you hopping on it to be a producer? That's going to dictate what you do and how you use the platforms. And it's going to dictate your mindset going into it. Like Jordan said, you have to prepare yourself to be able to do this over a long period of time. Like it gets tiresome posting videos over and over again, editing things, coming up with different content ideas. And then especially when you're doing that and putting all you have into it, and then the video doesn't even go viral. And you know, like the only way to increase your chances of becoming big on social media is to continue posting it. So you have to be able to fight through that discouragement. Like every video you post is a seed. And, you know, playing the law of numbers, like the more seeds I plant, the better chance I have of one of those growing, right? So it's like being consistent and being disciplined and being diligent, having the right mindset going into it. And then also, like, know your audience, know who you're going after. Don't try to do everything for everybody. Reach a specific group of people. Like for us, I would say we're going after people around the ages of 18 to 25 looking to better themselves in life. So we know that. Know what your target niche is going to be. So, you know, a specific area, whether that's going to be fitness or that's going to be lifestyle content or it's going to be social or that's going to be financial, whatever that niche is, you need to find it. And don't be afraid to try new things. Understand that you can use, like we talked about earlier, everything's about data. So the cool thing about, you know, each video is like each video has data. You can see the amount of views, the amount of likes, the amount of shares, the amount of times that people are watching your video. And if you see like a certain video has higher numbers in certain categories, then you can start trying to cater yourself to making more content that fits those types of videos in order to reach more people like that.
I would say, especially in terms of trying to leverage, you know, your outside opportunities, like, I don't know. So for me, I like to leverage my social media platforms to grow other social media platforms and eventually start pouring that into businesses. Like I started a clothing brand and I'm going to be doing another drop within the next coming months. But the way I was able to do that was because I made sure people supported me as an individual and not necessarily what I did. So I had a mistake with my first TikTok profile where I would make content that I didn't enjoy, but it was doing well. So people came to me for the content I was making, but they didn't come to me for John, the individual, right? And so like people are like, okay, what's the difference? I think the biggest difference, I usually use these two examples. You have Keith Lee and Mr. Beast. Keith Lee, he was consistent for a long time. He took
explain
off.
who these people are in case they don't know.
I was in the middle of.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Anyways, Keith Lee, he took off, but he was very consistent for a while. And what he would do was he would post family-related content and food-related content. But then his food-related content started blowing up. The way that he delivered, his cadence, his reviews, they seemed very personable. He seemed like a trustworthy individual. So his food reviews really blew him up. But people still rock with Keith, the individual. They still enjoy his family. So whatever video he posts now is at the point where if it's not food-related, it's still going viral. Mr. Beast, however, what he does is he sticks to his niche very well. He does videos where he basically gets random people to do different challenges, and he gives away a lot of money. But anybody could really do what Mr. Beast is doing. It's not like people really care about Mr. Beast, the individual. It's just they know Mr. Beast has a lot of money. I want to get on his video. But if somebody, you know, came along with like Elon Musk type money, started doing Mr. Beast videos, I'm sure that they could start blowing up really quickly because it's not necessarily Mr. Beast that they're following for. They're following because what Mr. Beast does. And so it's just basically like the difference in, you know, offering a product and you yourself being the product.
Yeah. Mr. Beast is an interesting exception because I was listening to a TikToker talk about this, but like he's become so big that no matter what he posts, he's going to get, you know, go viral. But yeah, it is the difference between, and they say it's a relationship-based creator and then an idea-based creator. So Mr. Beast more idea. He's like climbing the largest, building the world, you know, like things that really just get attention and get like eyeballs on his content. A relationship-based creator might have a smaller platform or they might be a large creator, but like people follow them just because they love their personality. And one creator I'm thinking about, her name is Emma Chamberlain. She started off on YouTube, doing daily vlogs, and now she has like her own podcast. But like people genuinely just follow her because they love Emma Chamberlain's personality. And in terms of this day and age, I would say that there's a lot more longevity in terms of career and expanding outside of social media if you're a relationship-based creator, because these social media influencers and content creators are becoming celebrities now. I forget his name, but there's this guy, he threw a celebrity all-white party, and people on TikTok were shocked because Dixie D'Amelio, she and her sister Charlie D'Amelio are famous on TikTok. And there's another creator named Alex Earl. She recently blew up on TikTok too. Circa this year, she's gotten really big. They attended this party with all of these A-list celebrities. So like Beyonce and Jay-Z were there, Jack Harlow, just like a bunch of famous rappers, artists, Leonardo DiCaprio, actors. So like if you want to brand yourself more than just a social media person, I would say like you have to focus more on the relationship of showcasing who you are on social media. Would you guys agree with that?
I would definitely agree with that. Like the relational thing is huge. Also understanding that set yourself up in a way that you can be brandable. I think one of the mistakes we all made early on in our social media careers is that we were just posting content just to post content, but it wasn't in a way thinking from a marketer or advertiser's perspective, because they need to know like what demographic are you hitting? Are people going to rock with you like relational wise? Like are people actually watching your videos? Or is your video in a way that if I put a product in there, does it substantially change your content? Or am I able to seamlessly mix in the brand, whatever it is, and your content stays essentially the same? Because that is key. Like if I can put my product in your video and your video stays the same and continues getting the same attraction, I want to work with you. So putting yourself and making it to where all your videos that you make are marketable and yourself is marketable is going to be huge. And you set yourself up like that. And with that, like what are the best social media platforms that you would say to grow on in terms of like thinking about branding yourself out in the future?
I would say it just really depends on who you are and what you want to accomplish.
Facts.
Right now, TikTok has the best discoverability. So if you're just like someone who just really wants to get their personal brand out there and no one really knows who you are, I would say definitely TikTok is good. YouTube will pay you the most. So if you're someone who likes to really edit videos or likes to, or can, I guess, make longer videos if you have the time, or even if you don't have the time, but like you really want to pour time and effort into something, I would say go onto YouTube. Instagram is great for marketing. I feel like there's like a lot of different ways to market on Instagram. They have an Instagram shop. I know like when I'm scrolling through Instagram stories, I get like all these random advertisements that aren't random because they're catered to things that I want. So I'm always clicking on them. So it's a great for business. It's a great, someone said like Instagram is more like a kind of like a personal website. Like when people want to look you up, they look you up on Instagram. And just think about that. I don't know. It was an interesting thought.
I do post more of my personable content on Instagram than any other social platform.
I think I've noticed a lot of businesses growing really rapidly on Reels, and it gives your business a lot more credibility than TikTok. Once you start doing TikTok for a while, you kind of understand, like, you're not really holding a weight in the industry until you're upwards. Like what number would you say?
I would disagree. This is such an interesting conversation. I
In
feel
terms
like
of what?
we started on TikTok in the early days, so we see it so differently. But like one of my friends, she has 20,000. She's my coworker actually. She has 20,000 followers on Instagram, and she's like, "Man, I just want to grow a TikTok following." I was like, "Why?"
Really?
And she's like, "Yeah, Instagram is just like not really all of that. Like I get brand deals and stuff, but like she sees like TikTok how we see Instagram, like having a large
That's
Instagram
crazy.
following.
That is crazy.
And then a lot of people who are really blowing up are blowing up from TikTok. And it feels like we missed the wave of blow, but it's like, no, someone was saying like with YouTube, people didn't really start blowing up on YouTube after 10 years. So they're like, with TikTok, you have not seen the biggest creators that are going to come out of the app at all.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
No, I think I was just saying though, like in terms of like the way that you view the following, like Reels though, they blow you up more than anything, right? Because like Instagram has been around longer, so that's why I say that it's more established.
Yeah.
So people kind of trust that more. But Reels are really blowing up accounts to where you see somebody 35,000 followers. I saw this literally today, like 34,000 followers. He's not getting any likes, but his Reels are doing really well. Like normal posts aren't getting any likes, but his Reels are doing really well.
don't like
So
that.
me personally, I not a fan, but I was talking to a friend about it, and he was saying like it doesn't make sense to not do Reels only because of the fact that if you do Reels and companies want to give you brand deals, then they're gonna see that number and be like, okay, cool, you get a lot of exposure. So, Reels are a great way to get discoverability now. It's not the same as TikTok, but it's a great secondary option.
Yeah, and we could talk like days and days about this. So we were probably gonna have to do a round 2 of social media. But with that said, Eric, you wanna close it out?
Nah, just like John said, Reels I have seen do have the most organic reach on Instagram. Even on like our Instagram podcast account, Reels be taking off and actually growing our platform more than anything else we can do. But social media is huge. It's not going anywhere. And there's going to be a new social media platform that comes out, and people are going to flock to it because everybody's trying to be the next big thing. I think COVID really spurred this on even more for our generation. And then TikTok. Now everybody wants to go viral. And now people want their money. They want to be able to get monetized and get brand deals. Nobody wants to work an actual job. They want to be able to live their life and get paid for living their life. So
it's not only that brands need these people.
Yeah, I mean, it's cheaper form of advertisement. Like advertisement in general is really expensive, but you can pay content creators for way cheaper. So
it's so true. So with that said, if you're not following us on socials, make sure you follow us on Instagram at I Found a Friend Podcast, not I Found a Fam. And then on YouTube too at I Found a Friend Podcast. With that said, if you've been looking for a friend, you found one.
I found a friend pod.